Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm using this Unity stamp set today. This is a new stamp set and it is time to refresh. So it's got these tropical images here. I've got a flower, I've got a few leaves, and there's about 5 sentiments in this set. So it's a great one for building tropical scenes with some of those coordinating sentiments. Now I have a piece of sea cardstock here. This is from Brutus Monroe, and I'm using my Fun Stampers Journey Fusion ink to create a leafy border, a leafy frame on the outside of my cardstock. So to do this, I'm just using that image of this palm leaf on my stamp block. I didn't use my Misti because I'm just going to be turning my cardstock around and really moving my stamps around. So I found it was easier to use my stamp block. And also with these rubber stamps, they give a really great impression, even on the first stamp. So I found that using a stamp block for this was easier than my Misti. But if you want to really have precise stamping, if you want to make sure that your stamped images are nice and solid, you can definitely use it Misti. So like I said, I'm building a leafy frame on the outside of my cardstock here. And I'm doing that by just stamping these leaves around the outside. I'm trying not to come too far into the middle because I am going to be doing some masking as well. I want just a nice, clear, defined area in the middle to kind of look like a frame. But I am doing some stamping before I add my mask because I want some of these leaves to kind of come into that framed area. So I'm adding my mask here. I just have this cut out from Brutus Monroe masking paper. It's just one of the stitched rectangle dies from Brutus Monroe. I use these stitched rectangle dies in a few places in today's card. I have to say, sadly, I believe they're retired. But any kind of rectangle die that you might have, or any kind of shape, you could use an oval or a square or anything for this technique, it will all work. So now that my mask is here, I'm just stamping over it. You can see I already had a few stamped images on this mask because I practiced on another piece of scrap paper before I started my card just to see what it would look like, and I really liked the result, so I thought I would do this and share it with all of you. So I'm just adding more stamped images all along the outside of my card. And wherever that mask is, wherever it overlaps that mask, you're going to have a nice defined edge, and it's really going to create a frame for you. So I'm almost done with my stamping here. I'm just trying to fill in any of those gaps that I missed. And then I'll just go ahead and peel off my mask. Just filling in a few areas. So this masking paper peels off really nicely. You do want to go slowly so you don't rip your cardstock, but I found it peels off really easily, and you can see now I have a really fun frame in the middle of my background. But I love that some of those leaves are kind of coming into that framed area. It really gives it a little bit more dimension and a little bit more interest, I think. And so now I'm using my Nuvo Shimmer pen. This is my Aqua Shimmer pen, and this is the gold. I think it's called Midas or something like that, which would make sense, obviously, because it's gold. But I want to add a lot more shimmer and some gold to this card. There's actually going to be quite a bit of gold on this card. I just thought the gold shine would go well with that tropical theme. So I use this Aqua Shimmer pen just to fill in all of those open leaves and give it some more shine. Now I have some Glitterstock. This is also from Brutus Monroe, and I've cut it into a little frame. Now I used these stitched rectangle dies that I mentioned earlier. I just stacked a larger one and a smaller one together and ran it through my die cutting machine, and that creates a frame. And to get this smaller, thinner frame, I arranged my dies on just the edge of my cardstock, and so I got this thin edge around the cardstock where it cut out that rectangle. And then I just trimmed the other two sides to kind of match the width. And I hope that makes sense, because it makes sense in my head. But I hope you guys know what I'm trying to say. So I just made a smaller, thinner frame because I liked that thinner look. And I'm going to layer it over where I masked off my frame. So it kind of helps that framed area to pop out a little bit more. And it adds a little more shine because we all love shine. I love shine, and I love all the gold shimmer in this card. So I used my Nuvo Deluxe glue to go ahead and adhere this down. I'm just trying to wiggle it around, make sure it's straight before it completely dries. So over that framed area, I want to add my flowers and a few leaves and just make a really nice layered arrangement with these florals. So I'm stamping this out. I'm using my embossing ink and I'm going to emboss it in Gilded, which is Brutus Monroe's gold embossing powder. I absolutely love this powder. I think it's just a really nice color of gold, and it really shines once it's melted. So this is my go-to embossing powder whenever I'm doing gold embossing or anything. So I'm using my Wagner heat tool to melt that flower, and I apologize if you hear the street sweeper that is going past my house right now because it's really loud. So I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'm just kind of waiting until it goes by to continue on with my narration. Anyway, I'm using some more ink to blend these leaves. I'm using a lighter green, and I'm going right over that embossed area because when you use embossing, it actually acts as a resist. So you can do some ink blending over it, you can do some watercoloring over it, and it still shines really nicely. And if you want to make sure there's no ink sitting on top of those embossed lines, once you're done with your ink blending, just go over it with like a dry cloth or something and kind of wipe away that ink, and it's going to shine really nicely. So I found that ink blending on stamped images is kind of a really quick way to color your images. If you don't have a lot of markers or colored pencils or anything, this is a quick and easy way that you can color your images. When I started out stamping and creating, I didn't have any coloring mediums, and this is pretty much the way I colored all of my stamped images, and it works great. For really detailed images, it's kind of hard to do, but for these big open areas and this embossed image, this works really great. And by using these inks that coordinate with the rest of my card, all of my card and my colors are nicely coordinated. So I put some pink onto these flowers, and I kind of want to add a little bit of orange right in the middle to have sort of a two-tone kind of flower. So I'm just kind of using the edge of my ink blending tool here and adding a little bit of orange right in the center and kind of just blending it out. So when you have bigger images like this is a little bit more possible to do with these ink blending techniques on your stamped images. If you don't have like a smaller way to ink blend, you can always get some of those brushes. I know there's some smaller ones, and that adds some color in smaller areas. And I don't have any of those brushes, but I've seen them and I think they look like they work great. Maybe I'll try them sometime, who knows. For now, I just kind of stick with my mini ink blending tools because they're working around. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead. I arranged all my flowers and my leaves. I know where I want them to go. So I've glued those leaves down with some glue, and I'm popping up these flowers with some foam adhesive just to give them a little bit more dimension. Just trying to get this flower where I want it to go and just stick it down. And you can see all of that beautiful gold in the background. Everything's kind of shining. And I want to add my sentiment. So I'm going ahead here. I'm stamping it out with embossing ink again. I'm going to go ahead and emboss it with some more Gilded. And there's the street sweeper again. I'm so sorry, guys. I mean, of course they decide to come past my house when I'm trying to do a voiceover. Kind of random. Anyway, so now that the street sweeper is gone, hopefully, we'll get back to the video. So I embossed my sentiment. I'm cutting it down. I just want to kind of cut it down to size so I can layer it onto my card. I'm going to layer it right here by my flowers, adding some foam adhesive. I found that this sentiment strip was just the right width, that I could just put one of these pieces of foam adhesive on there. Didn't have to cut it down or anything, just tore off a little piece, and it fit perfectly, so we're going to go with that. Just lining up that foam adhesive, and then I'm just going to arrange it on my card right inside the frame there above my flowers. And that's pretty much the card. You will see here I'm going to be adding some gold sequins because we don't have enough gold already. We need to put some more on here. So I'm using some of these Fun Stamper Journey Gold Friendship sequins. These are really shiny. I love them. It looks like a little pot of gold when I open this cute little container. And I'm just picking a few out and arranging them. I'm going to be adding them with a little bit more of that Nuvo glue. and I think it really adds a little bit more shine, and I really love how it turned out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I apologize for that street sweeper. I hope you guys didn't hear it too much, but I did. It was super loud. Anyway, this new stamp set from Unity is so fun, so amazing. I'll have links down below if you want to check out anything. And I think I hear that street sweeper coming back. I don't know. Let's get to the end of the video before he comes and haunts us again. Anyway, if you liked this video, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, doing all the things. You know the drill. Otherwise, I have more links down below. I have more links at my blog. Please feel free to visit, and I will catch you guys next time. Have a great day. Bye.